Hi, this is Mark David. I'm the co-host of The Last Safe Space, a special data-driven, very, very blunt, slightly comical podcast from Music Venue Trust, and I'm here with my co-host this week, Tony Coe. What are we talking about this week, Tony?
So let's get into it. This week's roundup is festivals and venues strengthening their ties. It is Coldplay's landmark commitment to the grassroots, which is awesome. I can't wait to tell you about that. A new national networking day for bookers and promoters, and community ownership in the spotlight, and a bit of history on the phrase grassroots music venues, and the latest win for Agent of Change. It's quite a big week, really. So first of all, let's start with festivals and the grassroots pipeline. We've been deepening our work across the festival network with IFF. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say that. The International Festival Forum.
Acronym hell.
I know, we do live in acronym hell here. And the Association of Independent Festivals, because we know if you support the small stages, it powers the big ones, right? So festivals, they need fresh talent, and fresh talent needs a place to start. And that's Grassroots Music Venues. They're the incubators where those future headliners, they cut their teeth. So when these spaces are supported, the entire live music ecosystem benefits, from the local stages to the biggest arenas. And the public the public is with us with the fan-led survey results. They say 93% of music lovers think adding £1 to the arena and stadium tickets should go straight back into the grassroots. I mean, that's a really high statistic, and that's a huge level of support, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and just to explain, I mean, the International Festival Forum is a gathering of basically buyers from across the festivals in Europe and around the world. There's lots of conversations which aren't relevant to us, but we do like to be part of things like the International Festival Forum. So this year we're presenting new bands on one particular night. I think we've got 4 great new acts. I know Bilka playing it for us, and I think Nadia Sheikh's playing. Jen's playing, which is one of our new patrons, I think. And we want to make sure that everybody who is booking those festivals is reminded when they're at these events that there's a whole feeder section of stuff out there that actually is really super important to them. So we do this one, we do International Live Music Conference every year. We try and be present at as many of these things as we can, even if they don't immediately seem relevant to us. Actually, in a strange way, they are. Look, we've been saying, at least since 2017-18, this £1 levy that we keep returning to, it's not just for venues, it's for promoters as well. You know, venues aren't any use without promoters. You need great promoters bring the bands in. What else do we need? We're going to need artists. It's an ecosystem, and festivals are part of that ecosystem. And so we really like to talk about things like the levy, supporting everybody, supporting the whole ecosystem, and we want to be part of things like International Festival Forum when that's happening, so that we can say, listen, remember this. You know, I know people are there will be buying huge headline bands for massive amounts of money. Well, those headline bands started somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think sometimes these conversations seem like they're above our heads, but I think that, we're inviting festivals to come and talk to us about how they can contribute back into the grassroots to make sure that, the next sort of festival headliner, is supported all the way from the bottom all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So, if you come to these sorts of events, please come and find us and talk to us about about the ways in which you can support. We've had Radar festivals support us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had any other festivals, I think?
There's a few festivals flying around that might be doing stuff, and there's a lot of rumours going on about what the big festivals might do on the levy.
Yeah.
Sounds very positive. I don't think it's just about the levy, though. I think it's genuinely just about conversations with people to recognise who's part of that ecosystem. Where does it end up?
Yeah.
All of the festival headliners that are going to be booked at that thing probably started in a small venue.
So a bit of awareness raising as well.
It's awareness raising and making sure
absolutely.
people understand where it came from.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about people doing amazing things. So we've got someone called Andy Hobson who's been doing marathons, which is amazing. He's been nominated for the Just Giving's Outstanding Contribution to a Cause Award for his fundraising work for Music Venue Trust, which is so cool. He ran from Leeds to London. That's 7 ultra marathons in 7 days, because he's a literal madman, I think, finishing at a Sam Fender gig, which is, another artist that's been very supportive of our work. And this weekend he's running, well, this weekend probably won't be by the time you watch this, but this weekend for us, he's running across London and stopping at 25 grassroots venues as part of our campaign with the Mayor of London and London Creates, because he's an absolute legend. So
people like this, I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? We are a charity, so we'll obviously end up doing charity things. But Hobbo is, I mean, I follow his stuff on Instagram, and there's just this constant flow of pitch. Does he ever stop running?
I don't think so. I think he probably runs everywhere.
Runs everywhere. I think we should challenge him to do something else.
No, I like you running. Please keep running. It brings me lots of joy.
What about a bathtub full of beans? Hobbo, I want to see you in a bathtub full of beans, raising money for music venues. I don't want to see anyone
in a bathtub full of beans. That's not my vibe.
It's a traditional way to raise money for charities.
I think that's a phobia for some people. I think beans might be a phobia. And moving on to...
it's trigger warning. Last safe space announces we're going to talk about people in beans.
It's a trigger warning for me, for sure. I want to talk about Coldplay's 10% commitment, because this is a big one. So Coldplay's UK shows are about to kick off, and they're making one of the biggest commitments that we've seen from a major artist yet. So 10% of tickets from their Wembley and Hull shows are being donated to MBT.
Not quite. 10% of the band's proceeds.
10% of their proceeds.
Yeah, of the band's proceeds. And then also everybody else involved in the show has been asked by the band to also make a contribution. So the promoter, the ticket agency, the venues. It is amazing. I think sometimes you need somebody to step over a line that nobody else is prepared to step over. And I don't think we should hesitate to say that the first people to step over that line on this issue about, the big shows contributing back to the small ones was Enter Shikari.
I was literally going to say that. Yeah.
And all hail Shikari. Not only they're one of my favourite bands. Incredible band. But also, have you seen the video of them at Wembley Arena?
No.
Oh, were you at that show?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yeah, you're in it.
Oh.
There's a real focus on Music Venue Trust, rousing the crowd, and Music Venue Trust are all stood there, and he literally keeps going up and down past you. Mike is in the video. He's going absolutely mental.
Mike is one of ours.
It's really cool. But anyway, so Shikari were the first. Obviously, Frank Turner. I mean, the previous episode we mentioned Railway Inn.
Yeah.
There was a comment on that on the Railway Inn crowdfunder we didn't touch on in the last one, which was somebody said the comment was, "I do whatever Frank Turner tells me." And I thought, what a great reason to donate.
How much money has Frank donated? He's done so many shows.
$250,000 because of COVID and the things he did around that. I always call him Sir Frank Turner because he should. If there was any purpose to the UK awards thing, then Frank Turner would
have a knighthood.
He'd already have a knighthood. But let's go back to Coldplay. Sometimes when we post about something, somebody tells you what they think of the band. I don't care what
we don't care what you think.
I don't care what you think about the band.
I'm literally amazing thing.
Yeah, the band. I was very lucky when I was a booker. I booked the first two tours later, but I booked a show.
That's got to be amazing, sort of like.
Yeah, it feels really great.
Like
I've stood next to Chris in small bars, like talking to him about what they were trying to do, and they were one of those bands. People forget they were one of those bands who worked really hard, really hard, and they honed their craft. They were already great by the first time I saw them. You knew they were going to be big, but you didn't know how big. I mean, that's. Despite everything else that's been said, it's probably still the biggest band in the world right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Selling the most amount of tickets around the world. For that band to be able to remember back 27 years, I think it is, to their first show in the Dublin Castle when they were called The Coldplay, and to announce these shows. Do you know this? They announced it by putting a handwritten notice
yes, I do, yeah.
in the window of the Dublin Castle saying The Coldplay August, September 2025. I think that kind of linear narrative is just unbelievably important because it obviously, look, we're in crisis in the grassroots, venues, promoters, artists, so their financial support is absolutely vital and is coming at a really important time.
And it's a lot of money
and
too.
It's a lot of money.
It's a considerable amount.
It's going to change some venues from closing to staying open. It'll mean some artists can go on tour that wouldn't have otherwise been able to. I mean, some promoters will get to put shows on that it's absolutely very practical. But even if it was £1, having that band stand up in front of their fans and say, this matters to us, this is where we came from, has led the rest of the industry in a way that is going to be significant for decades and decades to come. So if you don't like Yellow, you can fuck off. I don't care. We're not allowed to swear on this podcast, are we?
No, you can swear.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter
18
whether
plus.
it doesn't matter whether you like the band or not. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with thing. Can I just say that actually, if you understand what that band's about, and I think I'll probably get in trouble with their management for saying this, if you want to understand how much that band understands their audience, their crowd, look up Coldplay playing Fix You. I think it's at an Australian festival, and it's on YouTube, and watch that, because there's a moment where he looks up from the piano and he looks out on the crowd, and the crowd's a long way away because it's one of those big all-dayer events. And he stands up from the piano, goes off the front of the stage, hops over the barrier, runs through the crowd with his arms out wide, up the side, round, so that he gets almost all the way to the back of the stadium. And the connection between the audience and the band is one of the most emotional things you can think about. That level of...
You sound like you're getting emotional thinking about it.
It does, mate, because that's what I believe in. I actually believe in the connection of music. So to do it at that level tells you who that band is.
There aren't many bands that can play a stadium show and connect with that many people.
With that many people. And of course, obviously unveil unfortunate relationships that CEOs are having.
I mean, that was hilarious.
which, you know, but I again, because he's there with an acoustic guitar trying to make direct connections with people.
Yeah.
And this thing
they've done, those people really, really well.
This thing they've done here is a direct connection back to their grassroots and back to the people who supported them. I think it's epic.
Yeah, it's a huge step in the right direction, and it shows the rest of the industry what can be done, really. So just a massive thanks to Coldplay and their team for being the example.
By the way, they're such an incredible team of people.
Amazing team.
They are an incredible... The management of that company is absolutely incredible. The PR, everybody around them is...
They are on it, yeah.
Yeah, they're on it.
And humble as well.
Yeah.
Beautifully humble. So moving on to another really big announcement. We've literally just shared the Grassroots Networking Day. So on Tuesday, 14th of October, bookers and programmers from independent festivals, grassroots venues and promoters, booking agents will gather at 229, another amazing venue, for the first ever Grassroots Networking Day. So it's a partnership between the Association of Independent Festivals, the Association of Independent Promoters, I can't believe I haven't stumbled over those, Music Venue Trust, and it's supported by Arts Council England. So together we represent the largest employers in the grassroots music sector, and commissioning the highest number of shows by emerging artists and investing over 500 million a year into live music. So this is about creating those connections together and strengthening the pipeline and making sure talent can move between venues and festivals a lot more effectively. There's a big emphasis on us to work with them, to collaborate with these other organisations, because we all want the same thing at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and I think especially, you know, there's a stat in our report 2024 about the collapse in touring, where, you know, going all the way back to 1994 when, you know, Shed 7 I think played 83 shows in a year. That was the year Oasis broke. Yeah, it was a big year. But at the grassroots, the length of tours was average 22 shows.
Wow.
And it went to 28 different towns and cities that got the majority of the shows. We're now down to 10 shows, I think is about the average.
Yeah.
And it's 12 towns and cities.
Yeah, it's
and that means that we've left behind a massive number of people who have the option to either travel quite a long way to see me. And I don't know if you've heard, but transport in this country ain't that great,
no,
especially
it's really bad in Scotland and in
Scotland,
Wales in particular.
Wales. I mean, you can't travel hundreds of miles to go and see a gig like of that size. You know, you're looking at hotels, all kind of things. So we need to get artists back out, building their fan bases. Artists want to play. Venues want to put them on. So alongside the financial support they need to do that, this Grassroots Networking Day that these three organisations are bringing together, we're bringing all the agents in. We want to get everybody in a room and say, okay, how do we get the band to play in Blackpool and Inverness and Wrexham and Aberystwyth and down into Yeovil, and because there's music fans everywhere. And at this level, we really want to build those audiences. You know, we want We want the band. Do you know Mega City 4? It's probably before your time.
I'm too young, I'm sorry.
Myth and legend have it that the indie guitar band, sort of punky band, Mega City 4, legend has it they played 366 shows in a 365-day year.
Wow.
Including supposedly 2 shows on New Year's Eve. Now, I don't know if that's...
But don't Anvil do something stupid like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's literally true, but it's probably apocryphal, and because everybody knows they did play a lot. What I do know is the year after they played an unbelievable number of shows, they released their album, and I think they sold 20,000 copies in the first week of vinyl. You know, I think they released it themselves. That's how you build an audience, and the difference between that and you know, look, a TikTok viral is great, but it's not a career.
No, it's not.
It's not a career. If you want a sustainable career where you're connected to an audience who really believes in you, go and play Stockport. Go and play Sunderland. You know, because there are fans there that will stick with you for the whole of your life. We just mentioned Coldplay. How do you think they got so big?
Not on TikTok.
They played everywhere. They didn't wrap a tea towel around their head and try and have a viral hit about a yo-yo. They wrote some...
Is that a specific reference? Or?
I watch a lot of TikTok. I don't watch a lot of TikTok, okay? But it's basically, look, that's how you do it. And this conference is about, let's work out where you can play and let's get these connections back together, because it has fallen apart a bit for financial reasons.
Yeah.
If we're resolving those financial issues, let's make the connections again and start working out how we're going to spend the money.
Most importantly, we need to work together.
Yeah, of course.
We really do. So moving on to the power of community ownership. So the Quietus, amazing people at the Quietus, they have ran a fantastic deep dive this week into community ownership. So looking at venues like the Trades Club in Hebden Bridge, Crooks Club in Sheffield, and Walthamstow Trades Hall and King Street Social Club in North Shields. All of them thriving because their communities literally own them. And it's not just about saving a building, it's about long-term cultural resilience. So, and that's exactly what our music venue properties model was built on. So we've already passed the £1 million, which we've just spoken about on a previous podcast, in our second community share offer. So with more venues set to be saved and secured for the future.
I'd like to add the Globe in Newcastle into that, because I was there a couple of weeks ago. And I've visited the Globe particularly because we were up that area to have a big meeting.
Yeah.
And the Globe...
That's another beautiful venue, isn't it?
It's a beautiful venue, but also I think that might have been the first one that was community cooperatively owned. So I think it was like the first model one. The Exchange, I know in Bristol, is under that model. So yeah, I mean, it's a growing thing. I mean, we started this work in 2014. Less than 3% of the venues in the country were operating on a not-for-profit model.
Yeah.
That's now, was 33% in 2024. I reckon when we release our report in 2025, it'll be upper 30s, because a lot of people have worked out, look, there's not any profit to be made here, but if we act together as a community, we can protect music, local access to music, and it's a lot more effective way to do it, and there's more people contributing. So it's a great article as well that they've written. But
absolutely, and shout out Dan for writing that. He's really in our corner, and he's written a brilliant article, so please go and read it if you can.
And it's inspiring as well. That's what a great article like that inspires you. Go, oh, maybe we should do that, you know. And
he's writing more as well, so... Yeah, thank you, Dan. And finally, I just wanted to quickly touch on Agent of Change again, because I know that we've spoken about it before, but we've had a quick planning victory in Brighton. A proposal to convert offices into flats right next to the venue Alphabet was refused on appeal, and we've been having a great success rate with going against planning applications that are, not responsible.
Well, in 2024, 97.6% of our planning objections were upheld.
Yeah, I mean, I think we feel pretty proud about that. Our venue support team are amazing.
I'd rather we didn't have to make any planning objections.
No, but at least they're successful.
They are successful, but actually this is the point about Agent of Change. Look, what's happened in the Alphabet one is that actually Agent of Change rules have been applied very rigorously by the council. So well done, Brighton and Hove City Council, for standing up for what's in your local position on music venues and how you protect them. Good example of that. Wouldn't it be better if it was just in legislation? That's always been our position.
It would be a lot easier for us. That's
on average, the planning application that gets passed near a music venue is normally the fifth one. So you got 5 applications before they get to one that works. The first one won't mention the venue at all. The second one will mention the venue but kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
Then the third one will seek not to ignore it but pretend that actually it's mostly folk musicians playing 10 whistles only at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And then the fourth one will finally go, oh, wait a minute, it might be slightly noisier than that. And the fifth one will recognise that it's mainly extreme death metal, played at 110 dB late into the night, and maybe we should have triple glazed windows and exits that close properly. And, but my message to planners is, why not do the fifth one first? That's the first thing. And my message to government, and our message to government is, why don't you just make them do that? Everybody keeps saying they want planning to be quicker. They want more houses built. You know what's holding it up around music venues? Lack of agent of change as statutory legislation.
Yeah.
Put it in statutory legislation, and that fifth application will be the first one.
And then we can protect these venues from future noise complaints.
Yeah, exactly.
And, Alphabet is another great example of why policy win matters on the ground. So...
And also, we should shout out Alphabet. It's, and they won't mind me saying this, it has one of the least promising walk-ups to any venue in the country. Yeah, so you walk up and there's sort of disused shopping centre on one side.
Yeah.
Ahead of you looks like a garage that's been burnt to the ground in a Mad Max disaster. And then on your left, there's this wooden door in a big brick thing. And when you open it up, it's one of the most beautiful venues you've ever been to inside. Downstairs, I mean, it's literally a tribute to what you can do in what looks like an unpromising space.
Go check it out.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
The sound in there is absolutely brilliant as well.
So just to round up, there are lots of different ways in which you can support us. So just a reminder that you can support us through the Supporters Circle. I said support quite a lot then, sorry. And post about the gigs that you love and why you enjoyed going to them. If you want to go further, you can share our posts online. You can share this podcast. Sharing our messaging is so important. It means a lot to us. It helps us reach a bigger audience.
Is this where we sing like and subscribe?
Like and subscribe to our podcast, please.
Yeah.
Please. This was The Last Safe Space. Thank you so much for joining us. Podcast run by Music Venue Trust. I've been Tony Coe. This is Mark David. And we will see you next time. So please support your local music scene and let's keep the lights on.